That's a cool one right there. That's a pure 100% looking albino.
Start it up.
Pretty rough day.
Yeah, we got everything done, but it was definitely it was nasty. Got worse and worse. The wind finally come. We started out, it was east, so it wasn't bad. We were working into it, and then it shifted, like they said, to the southeast, and then it's got to be blowing over 20 out there, I would imagine. Jason, look at the front of that boat. It's been here, what, 2 weeks? It's already getting dirty. Yeah, that's crazy, ain't it? Boy, they were commenting how nice. He's like, that boat's got to be brand new. I said, they just clean it. But you can see being up here, that boat was
the yellow
absolute white. I mean, there was not a single color of anything. He's been here like a week and a half. We had 2 rows. The whole rows were dead, but everything else was alive today. I got at least one more row I couldn't even get to today. It was just too far up to where I wouldn't have been full with it. That whole row is dead. Possibly a couple more may have some dead in it, but there was a few live crabs. So I'm hoping that by the time I get to it, or this wind and the rain, everything should push all that bad water out and should be good. That's my hope at least. We'll see.
Would have been funny if you were here the other day when we pulled up. I fell in.
I was here.
I know you were here. You were standing right here, dude.
The biggest issue is all the rain that's going up across Pennsylvania. We had Fred go through and all that dirty water started coming down, and then Henry, I think it was, went to the eastern side of Pennsylvania and dumped a bunch of rain, and then some of that started coming down, and then now this mess going across the middle of Pennsylvania, that's all gonna come down too.
Right here, and then like step like on the over, and
We could do a reenactment if you want.
pass. Not today.
That's a once in a career crab there. Last Friday report, we weren't seeing much, and then that next day, Havity Grace got hit with that dirty water, and then it started working its way down. And last few days, we had some grass, piles of grass coming down. There was a little stain in the water, but the waters looked nice. So I guess with some of that, with the heat, the water's real warm, and then some southern wind, it blows it out of that deep water and up to us, and all that bad water comes up, and you can see it's a line where to the east of it's all dead crabs, and then you get further west and they're all alive. The fish, everything appears to be coming from the south and east is where we're seeing the bad water at. That right there's got to be the biggest catfish we've ever seen out here, channel cat. I don't know what it weighs, but it's absolutely humongous.
At least 14 pounds.
Yo, that's a giant catfish. And he flies too. When Lee hit, some of the places up there got like 13 inches of rain. All that water rushed in and came down to Susquehanna. I think they had as many as 18 floodgates open, and the water, that chocolate milk water made it all the way to Chesapeake Beach. So it wiped out the whole upper bay basically, and that year we fell off for about a week or so, 2 weeks, and then the crabs came back on, not as good, but we did catch crabs to the end. We caught them the next spring, and then from the summer on, there was nothing, absolutely nothing. Another giant catfish.
Must be about 15 pounds. Good fish, good side of fish. I'm going over.
Probably coming down with all that rain from Fred and Grace. They were predicting like 3 to 6 inches of rain up there, so hopefully it won't be that bad. And this rain and wind's probably going to help with the bad water. It should get everything stirred up and churned over. You don't have that picnic line or thermocline where the bad water's on the bottom and the better water's on the top. Hopefully it'll get all that stirred over so it's good top to bottom, and it could help us, could push a lot of them crabs that are up the bay down to us, but you know, it's kind of hard to know until it gets here, and sometimes you don't know the effects until a year later. You just don't know. As the water cools off, hopefully we'll be good for the rest of the year. I don't have to worry about dead crabs and bad water anymore. That's a giant catfish there. Yuck. Might get some rain now.
Looking ominous.
Get out of here. This is all celery. You can see the duckweed in it. All these little, this stuff right here, that's duckweed. And that's all freshwater stuff. Some of it's hydrilla, I think, and some of it's Illiday. So they're both fresher water grasses. This time of year, it's like it's naturally shedding, you know, starting to break off, and the seed pods go with it. But then when you add all that water coming down from Fred and whatever, it's helping the process to push it and move it out. So we're seeing a lot bigger mats of grass, especially up the bay. It's grabbing hold of them floats and dragging them around. And I mean, there's some couple acres chunks coming down. So to pull that grass up off the floats, there's crabs hanging in it, little ones, doublers, stuff, you know, they'll ride the grass down with it too. Pretty cool. I want to show you guys this 1 in 100 million crab I caught. Is it Leucistic or Albino? Definitely one of the coolest I've ever caught. I want to give a shout out to DNR with this Hurricane Ida coming. They extended the time to pick up crab pots, eased the time limit, so as long as you don't put the pots back, you can pick them up. Guys up the bay that are going to be fighting this grass coming down, and it's probably a fair bit of water coming down. They can pick their gear up and get it brought in and out of harm's way. They also extended the early start time to get out, beat the heat. It's just been absolutely miserable trying to work in it. Gives guys the opportunity. Older guys want to get their crabs in. Crabs aren't in that heat for as long, so product is better when you sell to market or if you're selling your own crabs. So big shout out to DNR for extending those to us. Had a couple cool crabs this week. This one here is, I think, the definition, as my wife would say, of tenacity. He's got a busted claw. Looked like he was going to try to shed again, but never did. He started growing a little leg on this side. He's wild too, nasty. And on this side, usually they'll start to grow them extra little legs when they're going to shed again, but this one must not have done it. He's got hair growing on his ears. He's kind of like Grumpy, your old man. But he's super dirty, rusty. I mean, starting to get a little bit of shell rot up here where he'll basically die old age is what he's going to do. But just a neat crab, neat to see there. Some of them just, for whatever reason, don't go in a crab pot, don't get trapped, and they'll live for a long time. I'm going to take and give them a haircut, clean them up a little bit, and then I'm going to throw them over and let them have a last run. If somebody catches them, we'll get a tag return on that one maybe. But just a neat old crab. The female run is just about over. A peeler run is just about over. We've already started seeing it in a few places. The run of sooks coming out. We had quite a few the other day. Starting to harden up, get decent. They probably don't have much egg in them. We did see some really hard ones today. I don't know where they came from. They must have shed a month or so ago. Maybe they were up in the rivers and now they're starting to leave, come out, and they might have shed earlier, and now they're going to head south. Probably won't be till maybe late September, early October if we see any sponges. I'll try to get tags on them sponge crabs if we catch any. Should be a pretty good run of sooks coming down the bay. We've shed a lot of soft crabs, a lot of doublers this year, seen a lot. Definitely a good population of females this year. They run down the bay. This right here is probably top 2 or 3 crabs I've ever caught. This is probably Leucistic. It doesn't have the pink eyes. It's got the tiniest little color in it. Female that I caught, I'm pretty sure she was albino because her eyes had a pinkish color, where this one has dark eyes, and it had, it's like a super light gray pink, but just an awesome, cool color crab. I've never seen another one like this. Just an amazing crab. Little bit of color underneath of them. He's got me good too. But definitely a one in hundreds of millions of crabs. Just super rare. Probably never see another one again in my career. Took me 20 years to catch this one. He's like a pale gray. He's super light blue. The claw color on that is just amazing. Just a neat crab.
You were saying also he's really aggressive too, right?
Oh yeah, nasty, super nasty crab. I mean, he's...
I don't know if he was messing around with the camera or what.
He is just mean. I guess when you stand out that much, you gotta be nasty. And you compare the color on him. Now this crab is really dark, and he's kind of old and dark looking more than he is green, but I mean, you look at the color difference on that, it's just striking. And then compared to more of a normal crab, this was actually a little lighter too, but more of a normal color crab, she's getting ready to bust out. You can see the color difference, it's pretty amazing. If anybody knows of a museum or some type of place that would be interested in us donating them, I'd love to put this crab somewhere where other people can see it and experience it. Worst case, I'm gonna put a tag on it and throw it back. Somebody else can catch it. It's just way too cool to keep. I think it's legal. It's probably 5 1/4, about 5 1/4, 5 1/2 inch crab. It's not real big, but just too cool to keep. So if somebody lets me know, be interested in it for a museum or some type of group, school group, educational group, outdoor type place that I could donate it to, let me know, and we'd be glad to donate it. I want to give everybody an update on the flooding situation. It's Thursday evening now. They got 13 gates open. It's quite a bit of water coming down. I don't know if they're going to open more or not, or if this is the bulk of it. Definitely going to see a lot of grass coming down out of the flats. There's a ton of grass this year, and I would imagine debris, trees, stuff like that. Hopefully it won't be too bad. Lee was what wiped us out back in 2011. That was like 40 gates, so it's nowhere near that. Hopefully we don't get anywhere close to that. We'll see how it goes though. Definitely keep everybody updated on what it looks like out there. Sad update on the Leucistic crab. The raccoon, I believe, ate it. Been battling this one raccoon all season. I've had my salt crab tanks covered. Tried trapping it many different ways. It's been the bane of my existence this summer. Usually I can trap them, get rid of them once I know they're there. This one won't go in a trap. Just cannot catch this thing, and I guess it must have been hungry enough to want to catch that Leucistic crab because he was nasty. So sadly, not gonna be able to donate it, but still a cool crab. Glad we got so much footage of it. Definitely neat to see. So, but I want to give everybody an update on it.